had somebody as a backup just in case somebody had an injury or back out, and that's what we got right now with Kris Kaul.
And that's tough too, Dana. And you always got to train like you have a fight coming, even if you don't, because you never know when you're going to get called in. We got Calvin Odom from the streets of Butte, a 185er. He's 22 years old. He went to Opheim High School. He played football, basketball. He ran track there. He's been training about 4 months, and that's a short-lived time when you're ready to get into the cage. He studies in the arts of judo, jiu-jitsu, and he's a ground fighter for the most part. He would like to send a shout-out to his brother and sister-in-law, Cody and Alicia Odom, out of Glasgow. And here we go. Action time.
Here we go. We got Scott Morani, the man in the cage, in charge of the two fellas here tonight. And now we're looking for a quick takedown.
And he's going right for that guillotine, and he's keeping his hips low, which is tough to get a takedown on when your hips are lower than your opponent's.
We might end up with a standing guillotine. He's got that pretty tight.
Well, what he needs to do is pick him up from the leg the same side his head's on and bring him to the ground. That's your best counter to that guillotine. You don't want the guy to be able to jump up and pull guard on you. Up against the fence. Still got that guillotine attached. He's driving those knees to the thighs, and that does have its telltale signs later on in the fight.
Well, he doesn't. There we go.
Right,
broke the clinch.
Break from the fence. Center of the cage.
Right back with there's Chris's takedown.
First takedown, right into side mount.
And he was looking for Johnny. He was looking for that takedown from the start of the bell right there.
He knew exactly what he was going for, Dana, and he was going to get it.
A little bit of ground and pound right here. He's got side control. Looking for full mount, and he's got it. He's got full mount.
Oh, that's a bad position to be in, Dana. You and I both know you never want to have full mount pulled on you.
Yeah, in the old days, you're looking at that right there. That's the old Saturday Night Ride. He's got the legs hooked up right there.
You definitely see his wrestling background.
Shot, and that's not a fun spot to be in on the bottom, getting your ribs worked over like that either.
So at this point in time, he needs to be trying some mount escapes. He needs to hip up. He needs to push his opponent's hips, hip up, hip him sideways, cause a sweep. He's posturing up. He's going to rain him down.
He's going to give up that. Yeah, there you go. You start taking shots like that, you see a lot of kids. They'll
warning him.
out.
The ref warned him 2 times. He stopped the fight.
And that's over with. Scott steps in. That's the end of that fight right
there. Do the strikes, Dana. Wow, that was quick.
Well,
he went in with ill intent.
Absolutely. And, you know, generally, you got a guy that has full mount and he's throwing down bombs on you. And a lot of times you can tell right away whether a kid's how he's going to react to those shots. You're either going to take them or you're not, and he didn't want any more of them. He bellied out, gave him his back, and you're either going to ground and pound or look for a rear naked. He chose to keep pounding on him, and Scott warned his opponent to fight back. He never, and he stopped it, and that's a good stoppage.
Yeah, that's what the referee's really in there for, Dana. He's there to protect that fighter. Great win for Calvin. Great win. Showed a lot of skill going in there. Showed a lot of composure. Almost like a seasoned veteran.
Yep, and right there, like we were talking about your wrestling, that comes right back from Cal Clark and his wrestling
Yeah, you can
background.
definitely tell he's an athlete. Here we go, side mount, little replay action here. Gets a couple shots in, trying to free his head from that guillotine. Once he gets it free, it's pretty much the beginning of the end, Dana.
You know, and you know, hats off to Kris Kaul too for taking this fight on short notice, because you know, as you mentioned earlier, that's a tough thing to do. Jump in there, night of the fight. Obviously, a tough kid to do that. Came in here and gave it his all, and things didn't work out the way he'd planned.
No, but my hat's off to him for stepping up on short notice and taking that fight. That was a beautiful transition from side mount into full mount. It was so smooth. I don't think Kris saw it coming, and once he got there, he knew he wasn't going to get out.
Yeah, and Calvin, look at here. He's keeping good hip pressure, keeping his hips down. And when somebody has you mounted up like that and they have good hips, tough to get out of that.
Oh yeah, we call that the wrestler's hips. Wrestlers know how to use those hips. They know how to keep you down with just their hips.
And just smothered him right here, and just throwing bombs.
Yeah, once he postured up, that was it. He had nowhere to go. He gave up his back.
You know,
he tapped. I
yeah.
did not see that the first time around.
I didn't either.
I thought the referee jumped in and stopped that due to strikes, but actually Kris did tap.
And you know, Calvin hit him with, you know, basically